One, two, one, two, one, two. Your mama and your daddy don't love you. They just tolerate you. Anyways, what's up, nerds? How's everybody doing? Saturday. Not sure if you guys can hear me. But I haven't been live in a while, so I thought I'd go live. Say hello to all the lovely people. I'm hungry. Seeing if anybody wants to chat. Chat it up. Make some music. Chatting it. Guys are chatting. Chatting it up. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can't, let me know. Anyways, I didn't really have anything going on. No topic. Unless you guys want to talk about the Titanic. The Titanic debacle. The Titanic debacle. Guys want to talk about that? And the asinine. Why? 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 Why would they do that? Let me edit this. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Can somebody explain to me why these idiots keep wanting to go down and see this dead ship? I just renamed this the Titanic Strikes Again. There's one person on. Hello to you, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you're not under DC, because there's a lot of no good stuff happening under the ocean. And you know what I'm starting to think? Here's what I'm starting to think. I think that we have done too much to the planet, and we have forgotten that the planet is alive, and that there are other species on this planet and we are not the dominant species. This is what I'm thinking. We have created things that can destroy the planet, and there are beings and species that are far more advanced than we are. And they realize how much of a threat we are just as being a human. And when you look at stuff like the Titanic and the ballsiness of their claim that it couldn't sink, you start to realize how, you start to realize that we have so much pride in ourselves. And our pride comes before the fall. We really believe that we are Lord and Master of this world. We believe this. And we believe this so much that we built a huge ship and we even have bigger ones now. And we said that this ship can't sink in an ocean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles long and wide, with the sea floor being 2 miles down. We actually said this cannot sink, without even fully understanding the ocean itself. Our pride is going to get us wiped out. That's it, and that's all. It has always happened, and it will happen again. This race, this time slot that we're in, we're just going to get wiped off the map, and it's going to be a clean slate all over again. And then those humans are going to do the same thing. And it's going to be over and over and over again. And they're going to be going, what happened with this civilization? Pride happened to us. Captain Smith said full steam ahead, even though he entered into a place where icebergs were. Huge icebergs. Huge. The Titanic was 14 stories high. Just drink that in. And the iceberg that hit them was taller than they were. And it's only, the majority of it is under the water. It was taller than them. And they sailed full steam ahead into it and couldn't turn in time. And so it cracked that ship open like a can opener. And listen, that ship was very carefully made. It had bulkheads and everything. So this was not a flimsy job that they did. Not to mention, they knew they were sailing into places where there could be icebergs. So they were so-called preparing for it. And this is what made them think that it couldn't sink. The Titanic bulkheads, there is a certain amount of water that the Titanic could have taken on and still made its voyage. There's no doubt about that. However, the ship took on too much water too fast. Now, just imagine how much water that was. It took on too much water too fast. That ship could have actually survived. Not only that, the 1,503 people who died never even had to die, even though it was sinking, because there was a nearby ship. And they pretty much ignored them. Now, here's another thing. The Titan that just went down, and all this press that, it got, and all the millions and millions of dollars, there were 700 people who died during the same time as the Titan that just went down. You didn't even hear about it in the news because they were immigrants. There were a bunch of poor people. 700 of them died, lost their life during the same time this Titan thing was being covered. You didn't hear nothing about it. Nothing. No news coverage, no flare, no flash, no dives to see if they could save anyone. Nothing. Those 5 people on this little sub the size of a bus that went into the ocean 2 miles down purposely in a faulty submarine got more coverage than 700 souls lost. Well, lives lost. I don't know if their souls were lost. And some people are saying, oh, it's a hoax, it's a distraction, blah, blah, blah. Well, they so-called found a body. Now you're going, how could they find a body when, it heated up to, the, area of the sun when it imploded? Because it's metal. And the implosion is this. And that metal could have crushed it crushed all of their body, but of course some could have escaped. They're saying they were evaporated, blah, blah, blah. Well, listen, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. But I'm saying that our pride is killing us. Now, there are all kinds of speculations because the one of the wives of one of the men who died was related to somebody who died on the Titanic. And there's the whole thing about J.P. Morgan. Look, what are you going to do? So what? J.P. Morgan was, he did what he did, and his family's on top. The Federal Reserves. I mean, you can even go to issue 1111, which is, where they say Kennedy was killed, which also had something to do with the Federal Reserves. I mean, listen, these people are greedy. We know America is a corporation. It's not a country. We know this. It's the Queen's land, just like Australia, Queen's land. We know that, the English, and, they still own all of this stuff. Now, the property owner is different, but the people, you are actually owned by the English. The land itself has been bought out by the Chinese, but the English own you. The banking system. You understand that? But when we're looking at the Titanic, and why I say the Titanic strikes again is because this is far from over. They've already made the ocean people, whoever owned this company, they've already said, we're going back down there. In 2024, we're making another dive. This is never going to stop. There are going to be more lives lost. And when you're looking at this Rush dude and what he did, Austin, whatever his name is, this dude was cocky. He made some of that submarine out of a material that wasn't tested. It wasn't even tested. It was made out of, I'm tired. I forgot what it's called. I worked my ass off yesterday and I haven't eaten today. Austin Rush. He made some of the material off of, it's what they use now to make cars real light and faster. But nonetheless, so this is going to happen again. The Simpsons actually predicted this too. But yes, this is going to happen again. And there are going to be more rich people that are going to die just to go down and look at a dead ship. Why are you so fascinated with this dead ship? Why? Why do you want to look at the Titanic? What is so important about the Titanic that you want to go 2.5 miles down to look at it? Just to look at it. There are clear pictures of it. You could look at it on your TV screen. Why would you risk your life? Listen, there's more going on here than what we know. Another thing is the government did not regulate, all these deep sea dives. This is another reason why the government and all the collective governments except France, except the French that came out of Canada, excuse me, is another reason why as soon as they showed up, they found it. But everybody else was looking for it miles and miles away. They didn't want to find it. They didn't go to where the Titanic was and then sink the submersibles and say, oh, there it is. But on the very last day where air ran out, the French were like, hey, you guys come take a look. They were like, sure, we're going to go right to where the Titanic is. They sank down the ROVs. They're like, oh, there's the Titan right there. Why are you guys looking? Oh, we heard a noise. Nobody figured out what that knocking noise was. Listen, there was a submarine that went down, what was it, last year? It was last year, right? Where were they from? India or something like that? They have no idea how that submarine went down. But when they found it, it had marks all over it. It looked like an animal got to it. Looked like an animal tore the submarine apart. And all the crew members died. All of them. They were not getting out of that. It looked like something went down and went, why are we not talking about this? The ocean is full of aggressive creatures that don't want us there. They don't want us there. And now that we have UFOs that are very clear, they're just showing up everywhere. We even had the one UFO that crashed in these guys' backyard, and then these huge creatures came out, and now we have video of them. We can see very clearly this is not a human. They saw them big boys. They were like 10 feet tall. Very clear. They are aliens. Like people, let's cut the BS. Let's cut the BS. The aliens are real. And let's also cut the BS. There is no solar system. There's no solar system. The earth is encompassed by water. There's no solar system. There's no sun, moon out there, millions of miles. There's Venus, Uranus, Jupiter, Mars. There is none. Sorry. Doesn't exist. Not the way we know it. Nonetheless, I just wanted to rant and just clarify that the human race is in a state of stupor. We're in a horrible state. We choose to be this way. We know that the civilizations of the past are far more advanced than we were. We also know that everything that we have made and so-called invented, none of it was. We didn't do any of that. It already was. There is not one thing that you or I can create that wasn't already created. Bill Gates, he absconded on somebody else's idea. All of them did. There's not one thing that is created by us. We didn't create anything. You can name hundreds of inventors. I don't care what color they are. They did not invent anything. It already was here. And it has already been invented by somebody. What we did was we rediscovered something. Christopher Columbus did not discover the so-called New World. He rediscovered another land, another part of Earth. We cannot go to the moon. The firmament will not allow us to go to the moon. So let's deal with what really is, people. The Earth is not spinning at 66 million miles an hour. The Earth is not spinning up in a spiral just like the rest of the universe. It's not. The Earth is sitting still. And it's a huge dome. You can't get out of that dome. You can't get past it. Unless you know the password. You got to talk to heaven about that. We also know that there's more than one heaven. There are like 3 of them. The devil isn't sitting in hell. Like, there are just some obvious things that people can realize, especially about this planet. We're not alone. We're not the dominant species. We are not superior either. We're not even close to it. Our fastest moving vehicles can do what? Maybe Mach 10 if we're lucky, without burning up. Maybe. We've seen vehicles that are doing obscene speeds stop on a dime and go the other direction without even acknowledging that there is such a thing called gravity. Gravity is not created by something that's spinning at high speed. It's not. We're not spinning at high speed. So how is gravity manipulating what we do? How's this happening? How? 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 How does that work? How does this work? How does this work? How? How does this work? If we're not spinning at 66 million miles an hour, which is so-called creating gravity, then what is this? What is this? What's this? How's this happening? How's this happening right here? How's the law of gravity happening? How? How's that happening? Why isn't it staying stationary? If we're not spinning, why isn't it just... Gravity is not real. But if you walk, go ahead and jump off a 2-story, rooftop, you're going to get hurt. So there's some explaining that needs to be done, because according to them, and with they, the scientists in Geneva and all that, Yale, Harvard, the lies that they put out, they're not really going to tell you how this is happening. but they're going to fill you with a bunch of neo-science, and they're just going to say swallow it, and then they're going to teach it to everybody, and all these so-called professors are going to refer back to something one scientist so-called said and teach it to your children, and everybody says this is the law. Sir Isaac Newton he didn't discover a damn thing. He didn't discover not one damn thing. Not one. He got hit in the head with an apple and he said, oh, this is gravity. Eat my shorts. He didn't get hit in the head with an apple. And then he wrote something down and now it's law. Get out of here. Pythagorean. All these great white men that discovered all, they absconded with information that already been here. They didn't know any of that. They took information that was already here. It was already here. Millions of years ago. It was already written down. They discovered. They didn't discover nothing. Notice how everything was discovered by the white man? What? What? You guys discovered. What discovery? What great discovery? The Wright brothers. The invention of the wheel, flight. The Wright brothers figured out how to fly. Wright brothers did not do a damn thing. The Wright brothers. There are airplanes in Egypt thousands of years ago. There are helicopters and all that stuff in India, Egypt, all parts of Africa. Get out of here. That stuff already was. There are watches and, all the grenades and, guns and all this stuff that are imprinted in the walls of some of these large mega, structures. Already was power, nuclear power. There's a nuclear power plant that's thousands and thousands of years old. We didn't discover nothing. Who's that woman that discovered nuclear and all of her findings are radioactive and she died from radioactivity? She didn't discover a damn thing. She rediscovered it. She discovered something that had been discovered thousands of years ago. There's not one person within our history who's discovered anything. And none of us has created anything that wasn't already created. None of us. Black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter what race you are. You did not create anything that wasn't already here thousands and thousands of years ago. And maybe even millions. We're still unearthing civilizations, and they keep taking us back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, going back further and further. They're finding proof of all kind of stuff that we think we created. We didn't create a timepiece, a watch. We didn't create none of that. We didn't create the compass. We didn't create none of that. Our seafaring ships, we didn't. No. The nuclear engine, the gas engine, the water engine. You notice that there are more and more people who are rediscovering the use of water and how to propel themselves just with an automobile. And you notice what happens to all of those people? Case in point, the last person who revealed that he created a car and it ran off water, he said, let me show you this before the government comes and takes my car. What do you think? The government came and took his car. And that was a white guy. Another guy who did the same thing on YouTube. Remember the kid who went and shot 10 black people and 2 white people, but he killed the black people? All the black people died up at that grocery store. The first person that he shot was who? The security guard. That security guard was an ex-police officer and a scientist. And he created a car that ran off of water and put it on YouTube. You see it on YouTube. He's like, this is how this car works. And he showed how the car works. And all of a sudden, this poor 18-year-old kid just goes up, shoots that guy and a bunch of other people who were pretty much cannon fodder. And then some car company comes out with the car that runs off water because they didn't want to pay him his copyrights. Coinky dink. That's not a coincidence. You walked into a grocery store angry and killed 10 black people. No, you were paid by the oil companies to go up there and shoot that man so he didn't have a claim. The first person who figured this out within recent years was back in the 70s. There were actually 2 people, and they were both white dudes. And one guy was like, you can go 100 miles just off of a, gallon of water or whatever. They killed that kid. And there's another dude, was a white guy, and he was about to sell his idea to a car company. And they were at a restaurant, and he got poisoned. And he was like, they killed me. And he died right there and then. They kill off anybody who comes out with these cars that run on water. Oil companies are not having it. They will protect their interest. There's a kid in Africa who recently came out with an engine. This is fascinating. He came out with the way to use the electro waves in the air to charge a battery and to run a car. And of course, when he did this, he's all happy, put it on YouTube. Sure enough, a European showed up right over there. And they were like, hey, show us what you did. And he's all proud of himself. Of course, he doesn't know American history. If a white man shows up when you create something that can, knock off what he's doing, you're about to die. But I don't know if they killed him yet. But the white dude that showed up, he was really testing if what this kid said was true. So he took this battery, he put it into this car, and sure enough, the car wasn't running off of gas. It was just running off the electricity in the air, and it was just running. And the guy looked at it, he said, not only is the battery running the car, but it's still 100% charged. Yeah, because we don't need electricity. This is something that they charge us for so the rich can stay rich. Electricity is all in the air. Even Nikola Tesla said this. You can actually touch electricity and it can go through your body and not harm you. But this electricity, you can't do that with. But yeah, that guy, he ran that whole car. I think he had built a helicopter too. Also, they also did the same thing with the TV. He said this TV doesn't need to be plugged in. Sure enough, what's on sale now? You can get a TV that doesn't need to be plugged in. This is what they do. They take ideas from, poor and less fortunate people who don't have the ways and means to distribute, and then they pretty much take what you made, get rid of you, and or send their lawyers after you if they don't kill you first, and say, hey, this was our idea. It's like, no, this was never your idea. You didn't create this. You didn't do this. We did this. Nope, it's ours. You know how hard it is to get a copyright? For one, just to get copyrights. Two, well, not copyrights, but you guys know what I'm saying. Patents, to get patents all over the planet. Not to mention, if China sees anything, they're gonna reverse engineer it. You're not getting any money from them. You can forget that. The best thing you can do is just go to China and say, "Hey, this is what I have." They're gonna look at it, and you can, try to make a deal with them, because as soon as they see it, they're gonna reverse engineer it. This is why when American ships go down anywhere near China, America has to, well, American airplanes, especially our new airplanes. This is why when one of them went down, America was like, get over there and get that thing. Do not let them have it, because they're going to reverse engineer it, and they're going to know our signatures. Well, I see everybody's gone. Anyways, it's good talking to you folks, whoever was here and listening. And you guys have a good day.